Did Sniper last time, we can do Templar now. Javelin. Javelin. Where do we put Javelin and where did it go? It just disappeared. Oh right, we need to minimize this. Javelino. Javelino, I think, is an... is it an S tier CC? It's really good. Sometimes better than Saturn Rocks as a CC. So we're only looking at the ability, not the skill line. Keep in mind. Like Aedric Spear gives you some giga passives. Not Aurora Javelin, it's the knockback, yeah. I think most people run Binding. I think the knockback is also good. It does more damage if you're at range, but people run this on like melee builds with Crescent and like melee spammables, so it doesn't get the extra value. Just knock people away from your melee abilities. I think as a range CC, it's still the best option, right? Maybe like high A tier is fine. It's on the verge of being S tier, but there, like, it could be better, right? Binding Javelin, on the other hand, I think is kinda broken. That's an ability is as good as Saturn Rocks, no. I don't wanna put it S tier though. Put both at high A tier, maybe Aurora Javelin a bit lower. It's mostly the skill line, it's not the CC, it just happens to be in the strong skill line for offensive passives. But as an ability, I think I would run Saturn Rocks, for example, every time. I think it's on a level of its own. At the moment, of course not the next patch, but yeah, probably around here for the knockback Javelin. Biting Jabs, I think this is going to be very controversial, but I like it. Sorry for the jab haters out there, I know there are some. I think jabs are fine as a spammable in group play in particular. There are some changes I would make to jabs. Javelin I would not change, I think is fine. But jabs, maybe like low A tier. It's not as good as Concealed, cannot put it on the same tier, but maybe high B tier. I'm not gonna put it A tier. Put it high B tier. So jabs, I think the duration on the Major Brutality and Sorcery should either be increased or it should just be passive when you have it slotted. The 10-second duration on the Major Brutality and Sorcery kinda sucks. I don't see a reason for it. Otherwise, it's a good ability. Has high chance of proccing minor beats and pretty solid AoE undodgeable damage. I would say B tier. Some changes regard, I think, but Blazing Shield, on the other hand, is where would I rank it? It has to be above, like, all of these things in the F tier that they're not changing at all, by the way, almost. Where would I put Blazing Shield as a defensive ability? Probably, like, C tier, but where in C tier? Like, around here. I don't think it's D tier. It's not as good as Ardent. Above F tier is crazy. If you look at what's in F tier, keep in mind you have Fragmented Shield and Molten Armaments, Igneous, Choking Talons, Obsidian Shard. The tooltip on this is actually pretty decent if you build for max health. And it does damage. Absorbs up to 0.3, so if you have 45k health, it's a pretty decent shield. It's 50% stronger than Igneous Shield. So you have a pretty solid tooltip, all things considered. 45k health is 13.5k shield. So 6k shield. I'm not gonna say it's good, it's still C tier, but it's not like awful, you know. Oh, and it gets extra size if you hit multiple opponents. And there's also that part. But it's 0.3 of your max health. You just have to build max health, most people don't do that. Still C tier though. Hardened Ward, by the way, I can compare to that as well. Hardened Ward also has the health scaling. But it's a lot higher. It's 44, so it's like 50% more shield size. So if you have 45k health, then Hardened would be... would be a 19.9k shield. So like 8, in PvP like 8k, right? Or minus 50%. 9.9k shield. It is still stronger, but... I think Blazing Shield could be like Hardened is right now. Or does have the scaling if you hit targets with it, but... It could be close to Hardened value right now and keep everything else the same. Maybe increase the damage of the Reflect based on the damage the shield takes. It could maybe make it to like A tier at that point. So just the values should be better. But it's still C tier, like it's not as bad as all of this shit. Or Regenerative Ward. I can show you that morph. Which was D tier. So this one is 0.34 of your max health, so about the same, right? It's 0.4 more, but you don't have the scaling and it doesn't do damage. You get some like pointless heal, that's like 500 on Regenerative Ward, but I think Blazing C tier could be better. Blazing Spear, this was changed recently, haven't really played with it too much. Gives you a self-synergy with Sustain. I think also either D tier or C tier. Because they also nerf the damage a lot. Still has a root, but it's very expensive to cast. The Sustain you get is kinda lost by the amount of magic you spend on the ability. It used to be really good, it used to have like an AoE with a spammable tooltip. It was about the same damage as Surprise Attack. Or a Console Weapon. A little bit less, but more than most spammables if you landed it. But then they changed it and now it's kinda bad. So Blazing Spear I think would be now like low C tier. And I wish they would change it back to how it used to be. They can keep the other morph as the Sustain one. But why change this one? Why nerf the damage? If anything, I would buff the damage over time or maybe increase the radius so it's not as annoying to land as like targeted ground AoE. Although it was better than Shock Ring, so I believe it was 6 meters or was it 8 even. But it always had the issue of it having a delay before it lands. There was like 1 second delay before the Blazing Spear landed. That was 6 meter radius, right? They could increase the radius and maybe keep the delay and just bring back the damage. That could be fine. Keep the self-synergy perhaps. But as it is right now, it's just bad. Crescent. This is one of the stronger ultis in the game at the moment. AoE does good damage, untouchable. Would I rank it above Tether with Soul Cleaver? It's about the same, I think. It's just the skill line is really strong. But you still have a lot of people running like Incap over this, of course, in 1v1s, and I think Incap's stronger ability overall, but... Soul Cleaver, Tether or Crescent? Both have cast time. The Crescent's a little bit more damage in me instantly, but this one also heals. Maybe like a little bit above... Oops. A little bit above Tether. It's close though, I'd say. I don't want to put it S tier. But it is a strong ulti. So S tier we have Corrosive and Negate and Energy Overload. But it is A tier. This is the other move that no one runs. Everlasting Sweep gets more duration based on how many people you hit. Doesn't get the plus 60% damage, so that kinda kills it as a morph in PvP. The duration is not that important. Probably put it still like high C tier though, if for some reason you want to run this move. But Crescent is definitely more value. Explosive Charge. It's a really good gap closer actually. I think it's on par with what's the decay one there. I think it's up here in A tier as well as a gap closer. You get major protection, you get minor protection, you get minor from the passive. You also get the minor berserk from the passive. AoE damage, pretty good damage when you land it. I think it's the highest damage or burst damage gap closer in the game. If I'm not mistaken. I don't want to rank it higher than Saints though. But you can use it with, unlike Saints, you can use it with Rush of Agony. Because the gap loss is a bit more delayed. Saints, you kinda, like, the timings are very off. If you try to run it with Rush of Agony. But it's a good gap closer. Maybe put it like here. Just very good, especially defensively. I wouldn't change it, I think it's fine. It's the unmorphed. Luminous Shards, this is the other morph. The other morph gives you more sustain. It's better than Blazing Spear now. But still C tier. Still C tier because it doesn't really do damage. The sustain you get is kinda lost in the cost, the cost of the ability. Or the max sustain part at least. Synergy you can use only every 20 seconds. Can be good for group support, but you don't really need to run this for group support. Like, you can just run 5-piece sets that give sustain if you want to help your team sustain for some reason. Which shouldn't really be a priority. Or a support build in PvP. So poly high C tier, they probably cannot change that too much due to PvE reasons, but could they maybe buff the dot damage on this one? Would that break the game if healers in PvE do more dot damage? Probably not. Maybe would make it somewhat usable in PvP if they did that. Or they can reduce the cost on this a lot more. The cost is too high for the like self-synergy sustain aspect of the skill. Especially now that they're buffing the Decay Inhale to be a sustain skill. They could do the same to this one. Just make it worth using for that. Puncturing Sweep. The Magica jabs. These are terrible. These are actually terrible. While biting jabs are good damage, Puncturing Sweeps are not. You get a heal from them. That is worth almost nothing if you check the CMX afterwards. It's just not doing enough. These could heal for 100% of the damage done, and you probably still wouldn't want to run it because it's so much less damage than biting jabs. I think what they should do with Puncturing Sweep, because biting jabs has a increased chance to proc Sundered, and does more base damage by itself and gives the, at least for 10 seconds, gives the major brutality and sorcery. I think Puncturing Sweep should have a... It should have a 10% chance to proc Overcharged, which is the status effect from magic damage. And then biting jabs could be the morph with the weapon spell damage buff, and Puncturing Sweep could be the morph that just heals you based on damage done. If the damage was the same, and that was like the difference between the morphs, I think Puncturing Sweeps could be fine. But as they are right now, I think it's probably like low C tier for this morph. It's not D tier, but it's not good. A Radiant Ward, so this one is about the same as Blazing Shield, I think. It doesn't have delayed damage, it has damage when you cast it. But you can get a bigger shield than Blazing Shield. I think it's probably slightly better for just overall. than Blazing Shield, but not a lot better. It's still C tier. Again, same as Blazing Shield. If they buff the values on this one, if they make the shield bigger, then it's fine. This can be the delayed burst, this can be the bigger shield. But they need to buff the damage here and values, and they need to buff the values here. And then it's fine. Toppling. Toppling, I think, similar to Explosive Charge, is good. Explosive with a CC, I think the only one besides Shield Assault. Also gives you a little bit of major protection uptime after casting it. I think a very solid gap closer. I think about the same tier as Chains, maybe a little bit better. There are cases where you want to run Explosive Charge instead of Toppling. If you have a better CC like Saturn Dogs, or you want to run a better CC like Saturn Dogs, if you want a backbar gap closer for a Rush of Agony, then you go Explosive, usually. So there's definitely reasons why you run this, why they're both A tier, but overall I think there's more use cases for Toppling. So we put it A tier, also off balance from gap close. Can be combined with bow heavies and ice heavies and stuff like that for a little bit of extra burst. I wouldn't change it, I think it's fine. So that's Aedric Spear, overall an S tier skill line. Or is it S tier or A tier? Not sure. S or A, still very high value ranked. Downshot on the other hand, not that good of a skill line. Start with Dark Flare. Dark Flare is kinda terrible. Kinda terrible. Where would I put it? Would I run Dark Flare over Puncturing Sweep? I don't know actually. It's bad. It doesn't do good damage as a cast time can be interrupted. Dodgeable, slow travel time. It's like low C tier, I think. I don't want to put it D tier. I don't think it's Stone Giant bad, but very disappointing compared to how it used to be. It used to deal a lot more damage, was a really good like cast time burst skill, and I kind of wish they would bring that back. Similar with the decay dots when they talked about like how they don't want all the dot timers to be the same because decay feels like everything feels similar due to that. It's the same with cast time abilities. We have the same timer with Snipe on Dark Flare and things like hardcast frags, then it just feels the same when you use it. I think Dark Flare should be a long cast time ability. It should take you out of sneak, out of invis when you cast it. It didn't always used to, they changed that a couple of years ago, but they should give it back the cast time, but make it hit a lot harder, I think. It is dodgeable, there's counterplay to it. They could do that, get rid of the Empower, that's pointless. Just a waste of power budget for the ability basically, having Empower on it. But yeah, increase cast time, maybe make it good for ranged burst builds. Have that be a Templar thing, where they have strong cast time abilities, for example. That could be interesting in the future. Especially when combined with Javelin, it used to be fun, but it's just really meh nowadays. Low C tier. That's the unmorphed Living Dark. In duels it's good, in open world it's very meh. And in BGs, you don't really get that good value out of it, but I still think probably B tier, right? Probably like low B tier as an ability. Has some limited use cases where it's worth running, but I don't know, how would I change this? It's a 12-second buff. I think the maybe they should remove the they could nerf the healing on this. But they could remove the cooldown. Like maybe a big nerf to healing and remove the cooldown. So there's a half-a-second cooldown at the moment on getting the heal. Or they could reduce it to like 0.1 seconds or something like that. I don't see another way to make this more like universally useful. Because that would make it better if you're really outnumbered. Taking a lot of damage from lots of people, then You'd get more healing, but you'd get less healing in duels, probably. I think that would be a good way to balance it a little bit more. Yeah, still low B tier, I'd say. Above the Light, another ability that's very like 1v1 dueling centric. Would I rank it above Living Dark? It's also probably B tier. Or maybe like high C tier. Let's put it low B tier, it's probably more accurate. I don't think it should be in the same tier as Dark Flare and Aedric Prey and whatnot, but Hunting Curse, for example, is more usable. Goes off a lot faster as an ability is better than Above the Light. Above the Light gives your opponent way too much time to cleanse it or prepare for it. And in BGs that means that they usually die or they get healed or they cleanse before it goes off. It's the same reason why Aedric Prey is bad compared to Hunting Curse. Aedric Prey has the 6-second timer. Or is it 6 seconds or is it 8 seconds even on that one? But anyway, like you have too long of a timer before it goes off. I don't think they should change that, because then you just have a Hunting Curse copy, basically. And you also have a condition of like where you have to stack it up with the damage you deal. Unlike Hunting Curse, so it's a little bit different, but... How would I change this? How would I change this? I think the timer should maybe not be 6 seconds. They could maybe slightly reduce it to 5 seconds or something like that and adjust the stacking accordingly. Or they can keep it as it is. But it's mostly a dueling ability. Also applies minor bleeds when you cast it. I think it's mostly fine, it doesn't really need huge changes. Purifying Light is kind of the same, it provides some heal over times, also people run this over Above the Light. It's less damage, less pressure, because you don't get the minor bleeds and you don't get the Sundered stage effect when you cast it and when it goes off. You get the heal over time instead, which people also use in duels mostly. In open world it's kind of pointless. Maybe this one is high C tier, or Above the Light is B tier, because you have even less use cases for Above the Light, or Purifying Light, than you do for Above the Light. It's like sometimes you apply this to someone and they just stop focusing you, they range you, and then you don't get value from the heal. You always get value, or most of the time get value from the heal in duels. Above the Light you apply it, then you always get the Sundered, you always get the minor bleeds. It's a lot better in open world, even if it's still bad there. Probably B tier or high C tier. Again, maybe it could be 5 second duration instead of 6, but it's not like super amazing. Or you know what they could do? What could be interesting if they wanna rework things entirely? They could make Above the Light a dot instead. A dot over 6 seconds. Every second it deals damage based on how much damage you're dealing. So it should still have that stacking. Well, like, first tick would deal a little bit of damage. Second tick, if you land like an incap on that first second, like that would hit really hard. But maybe it's still not fully stacked. And then on the last ticks, it would deal big damage. Not as much damage as right now. Because you shouldn't have an ability that does burst damage every second, of course. But it could be like 50% of that or something. And overall do more damage over the duration. Just be a pressure skill instead, or something like that. That could be interesting. Make it a bit more usable in BGs and open world. A bit more like immediate value or faster value. Radiant Destruction is the unmorphed, right? Radiant Oppression is the morph. Okay, so Beam. Beam used to, like, it would have been S tier back in the days, but right now Beam is probably... It's a better CC than Mage's Wrath. But being dodgeable kinda sucks. Kinda sucks. It's probably still usable though if you somehow find a way to use Down Threat in open world, but... Where would I rank it? It's B tier. It's for sure B tier. In open world it's better than these skills. Still. So this might be a bit controversial. I'm gonna rank it above the Light. Much worse in duels. but much better in open world. Especially if you play in a group. But ultimately not a good ability still. It's not Killer's Blade. Tier Execute either. But if you for some reason run down Sweat, I still think it's usable. I would make it untouchable again, by the way. That would be my change to beam. It was annoying, like having people beam you and you just be guaranteed to take a lot of damage if you dropped in Execute, but there was counterplay to it, and it is okay to have strong abilities in the game. It is okay to have strong ranged executes as well. You don't need to take that away entirely. Maybe they could revamp it though, like they could make it do more damage the longer you channel it. So you don't instantly get huge damage from the execute. It would still be undodgeable, but it would ramp up the longer you channel it. That could be a good change. Not like instant beam and you're dead, but if you stay in execute and you like spam in dodge soul, you're just gonna get melted. That could be good. And they could buff the heal on this morph. And make the scaling be 50% again. I mean, it starts scaling at super low health. It's just a huge nerf for PvP, and that was unnecessary. Radiant Oppression is the one that does more damage, but it's more expensive. Or the execute scaling starts earlier. I still think the heal one is better for PvP. This one is probably like high C tier or something like that. But yeah, same thing. Just make it perhaps like undodgeable again, just ramping up in damage stun instead. You should still do good damage if you have someone in execute with the first stick. It just shouldn't be as much as like Endless Fury, for example. But it should still be good damage on the first stick as well. It should give the opponent an urgency to heal up or line of sight. Instead of just like being, oh, I'm just gonna dodge all, it's fine. Reflective Light, one of the worst dots in the game. It's either D tier or just, it's not F tier, looking at the abilities here. It's not F tier, but I would probably put it D tier. Just a question of where in D tier. Like around here, I would say. I think Reflective Light, it should give you the... maybe they could fully rework it, but I think it should give you the crit buff while being slaughtered, which is what they've done with Flames of Oblivion and lots of other abilities. And I think it's called Reflective Light, so maybe it should apply some debuff on the target, where any ranged damage they do or any melee damage they do is like partially reflected to them or something like that. Could be an interesting debuff, like AoE debuff like that. They could give it something interesting. Right now it's just bad. It's just a dot, like it doesn't really do anything else. Solar Barrage is the other morph of Dark Flare, right? What would I rank Solar Barrage? It's 5% damage on class skills. Same with the Dark Flare, by the way. It gives you a small buff, but... An 8-meter radius AoE around you. If you have space for it, it's good. It doesn't really give you anything else, though. It gives you 5% damage, and it has to compete with, for that slot, with things like Quick Cloak, Major Evasion, Expedition, Broken the Glyphs. But it's still probably better than Dark Flare, to be honest. Only C tier, high C tier. Only around like ambush tier, or wise. Maybe a little worse, not sure. Let's put it here. They just get rid of the Empower, to free up power budget for the skill, and the class skill damage one is fine, can keep that. The radius is amazing, love that. But maybe the damage should be better. To kind of compete with the Quick Cloak and Arctic and all of the similar abilities. The damage should be higher, or it should tick more often, like every second or something. But it's one of those skills that would be buffed if the skill line was better. I'll keep that in mind as well. So maybe I won't change it too much. Or if the Templar class skills were better, because you have the unique 5% to class skills buff. It's the Unmoved Flare. Solar Disturbance, this is the Morph, right? It's not Solar Prison of Nova. And this is the Verse Morph. If I'm not mistaken. I need to actually check this, because I never really... Oh no, this is the Morph. It's just Nova. Oh, this is the other... Okay, never mind. This is the one that has reduced cost, and this is the one that deals more damage, so this Morph is the bad one. The Solar Disturbance one. It's probably, as an ultimate, still better than the Nightblade one, but either low D tier or probably low D tier. Still get a synergy, it's just not really the Morph you want to use. What would I do on this one? It only has the effect of lasting longer, people just get out of the area in PvP. And the Major Maim lingers, but it can still be cleansed. What would I do to this one? I would increase the damage a lot. Maybe this could be the damage morph and the other one the synergy morph. Because the synergy is used in PvP. In group play. And this is the other morph. The other morph we probably put in low B tier for the group play reasons. For solo play, it's absolute ass. It's terrible. But for group play, maybe it deserves a B tier. It's the hardest hitting synergy in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Also stuns when you use the synergy. You know what they could do? They could make the synergy usable by yourself. Similar to the what they did with the Blazing Spear. This could make Prison a very interesting ulti for solo play. Maybe we rank it a little bit higher. Like I wanna rank it above Beam, let's be honest. And maybe Flameless, but I think here is fine. I think what they should do, they should make the synergy usable by yourself. If they do that, then this becomes really good for solo play. It's very expensive, but you could have a like high burst. It has some like animation counterplay. People see it drop, they can hold block the synergy, right? Doesn't really change anything for group play if you use it yourself, the synergy. And I think the other move, if they do that, the other move could be a synergy that multiple people can use, not just one. Although that would be, it would be less damage, would be a lot less damage than the other move, but multiple people could use the synergy and maybe the dot of the skill should hit harder. That could be a good way to balance it. Unstable core, this is a very clunky CC. People use this in duels sometimes, but I don't think it's that great compared to alternatives like Javelin. It's very annoying to fight against. It's probably C tier, high C tier. Probably put it here around like Purifying Light. Maybe less than Beam, but very clunky ability. I don't know how I would change that. Maybe reduce the delay on it. There's like every first hit you do, you get a snare and you take some small damage. Second hit you do, you take bigger damage and you get a brute. Third hit you do, you get a stun. The catch is that there's a cooldown of I think half a second between the hits, right? These the effects can activate once every 1 second. That's the problem. That's the problem with the skill and why it feels so clunky. People get rooted, they stop attacking you. It doesn't last long, it's only 4 seconds. So they need to be spamming abilities for 4 seconds to get the full value of this ability. Usually if you try this in like BGs, for example, it's very low in damage time because people stop attacking you. Or stop attacking entirely if they have the bubble. Or they cleanse it if they can, it's also cleansable. So I think the delay should be like half a second. Or the duration should be longer. But I think longer duration would be annoying. So what they should do is maybe make it half a second delay. So it has more likelihood of doing like of getting good value than it has right now. Right now it's just a dueling skill basically. Templar has a lot of those, by the way. There's a lot of dueling skills. Okay, what do we have? Vampire's Bane. So this morph is even worse than... It has more duration than Reflective Light. I think Vampire's Bane is a fucking F tier ability. It's kind of like Molten Armaments for crit. This one at least goes on multiple targets. This one is one target, more duration, and that's it. F tier. And they should just rework this one. Maybe make it do a lot more damage. The crit buff should be just for having it slotted. And I think the... you don't want to make it too similar to DK abilities though, or other dots. I don't know. You could make this do like some unique damage taken debuff, but then it's broken in PvP. I don't know what they can do to Vampire's Bane actually, but it's an F tier ability in PvP. It's terrible. It needs something to make it worth running. Oh, you know what? You could have a heal debuff on this. You could add a unique heal debuff to Vampire's Bane. That Charles gave me an idea. Because that wouldn't affect PvE. You could make this like regen, debuff the healing of the target each tick, stacking up, kind of like a ability Gerald. Maybe like up to 30% or something. That could be interesting. And give the crit just for being slotted. Hey, that's a good idea. Would make it a lot more usable. Okay, now the broken shit. Restoring Light, S-tier skill line, easily. Where would I rank this morph? It's not as good as the other one. This one heals another target for like 50% of the heal strength. It's still probably like high C tier as a burst heal? Or is it? No, I think it's like mid C tier. I think this should heal another target for a full value. It's kinda meh as a healer ability. And the other one is a lot better as a self-heal. And also as a healer ability, because you get a lot more sustain than you do with Breath of Life. Having 50% heal is not really enough. It should be 100%. I think that's the one change I would make there. And you should always heal yourself. Channeled Focus, well... This is the reason we have Hurricane in A tier. Because this is the best armor buff in the game. I wouldn't change it, I think I would just buff other things. I think it's a fun ability, gives you a lot of sustain, lots of healing. It procs your passives from the skill line as well. It is really strong, but look at the DK changes they're doing. There's gonna be a lot of other really strong abilities in the future. I wouldn't change it really. I would rather just buff the weak ones. Where would I put this? It's an armor buff. It's just a giga armor buff. And sustain buff. It has to be Bay above siphoning. Probably like over here maybe. Is it better than Koro? Or Merciless? I mean, it kinda is. I would put it here. It's just one of the objectively strongest abilities in the game. Extended Ritual. S tier, but... No, it's probably like around here. As well. Best cleanse in the game. You could argue that the Hexproof is also good, but you can sustain Extended very easily. The good thing about Hexproof is the sustain that you kinda in the past would have needed, but since you can run Focus and Nets, for example, just get a lot of sustain from subclassing. I think Extended is better nowadays because you also get the heal. You also get the heal and the synergy for your team. Would I change it? I would not change it. Hasty Prayer. This the AoE heal, gives minor expedition. Very expensive. People do run it in group play sometimes, but where would I rank it? It's probably still C tier, I think. I don't know, it's kinda expensive. And the tooltip is less than on a burst heal. Where did I put the Breath of Life? It does the AoE healing or group healing better than Breath of Life. 50% of Breath of Life is less than what you get from Hasty Prayer. And you don't give people minor expedition. So I think it's probably like low B tier as a heal. It's probably fine. Would I change it? I would probably buff the heal tooltip a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. It doesn't have any heal all the time stats or anything like that, but yeah, I just wish the heal was a little bit stronger on that one. Could maybe consider using it on like Templar healer and BGs and stuff. One for alternatives, like just healing soul spam or the death spam. Healing Ritual is the unmorphed one, I believe. Honor the Dead. Now this one is better than the other morph. It's pretty sustainable. It is not shoot offering or healthy offering. But I think as a heal, is it A tier? Or is it high B tier? I think it's probably low A tier as a heal. So we're gonna have Polavind here. Where did I put Quag? Hold on. Quag is here. It's about the same, I think. If for some reason I happen to be playing Draconic Power, I would consider running Quag. If I play Dark Magic, I would consider running Vibrant Shroud. If I play Honor the Dead, I would consider running Honor the Dead. Wouldn't always run it, but it's not bad. It's not bad. So I think these are probably around like same power level. I won't really change it too much. Maybe speed up the resources you get back. It's over 6 seconds right now, I think, but if you spam the ability, you don't get the value of that. So it should maybe be the same value, but over like 4 seconds or even 3 seconds or something like that. Could be a little bit better, but it is A tier heal, I think. It doesn't really need to be buffed too much. Practiced Incantation. No, this one is the one that allows you to move. It is a good healer ulti, but I think it's better than Soul Siphon. I do. Has a lot of range, heals every second for a lot of like long duration. Use it more often than Soul Siphon. It does have some issues. But I think the issues are because people don't build properly on Templar Healer. They don't build tanky enough. So what this used to do, it used to procure 33k armor passive. It doesn't exist anymore. People used to be giga tanky when spamming the Templar heal. But right now you don't have that, you're locked in a channel. You don't spend any resources on the heals, it's AoE heals every second. Over the duration. But the AoE heals are like Hasty Prayer, they're not like Honor the Dead. You don't get a full burst heal tooltip every second. Which actually means that if you see a Templar spamming the ultimate heals, they are more killable than if they're holding block and spamming Honor the Dead. Because they cannot block during this either. It's another big downside. So, ironically, that is the time when you want to focus them, is when they're using the ulti. Which in the past would have been very counterintuitive, but not really nowadays. Actually, for that reason, I'm gonna put it B tier. I don't think it's an A tier healing ult. I think it's very easily countered. You can still try to build tanky enough to not die during it, but you do have to cancel it very often. Like you have to block and ball away in many situations. So it's kind of a like backline healing ult, the same as Soul Siphon, except without the major vitality. I can put it A tier, I think. I can put it A tier. Restore is better. Oh, I'm not gonna rank Restore high either. Because Restore's only one person. But it does allow you to do other things meanwhile. Like you can spam AoE heals while you restore. but the range and the like free healing when you're selling is nice. I think it's still high BTR, but I would probably make this just you know what would be interesting? I think the skill, I think the base version of the skill should it should reset the cooldown of your Lightweaver passive. And then it should proc because the channeled skill should have a permablock value to this. Now I know a lot of people in the chat might not like that, given how annoying these healers are, but it would like there are other ways to play healer that are stronger than this right now. People just don't play it. That's just that's just how things are at the moment. The skill needs some buffs. Although I don't know if perma-blocking healers while they spam this is a good thing. Maybe something else. Should it just give you the armor again? So you don't need to build around the armor. It could open up some build options. Maybe just give you mitigation while you channel it. Just plus 10k, maybe not 33k, but should give you armor at least. Or some tankiness while you do it. I don't know. Very, very disappointing right now though. Compared to how it could be. Radiant Aura. Actually for a healer this is not bad. It's not bad, it gives you regens for being slaughtered. And it gives your teammates regens as well when you cast it. Has no cost. It's like almost infinite range, like 40 meters or something. Pretty solid. As a group buff, I think it's probably making it to B tier. I need to put it above Igneous. If I had a Templar healer right now, I would run it. I do run it on some healers with the Restoring Light, right? So I would probably put it here. Like B tier. I think the ability is fine. They don't need to really change it too much. They could rework it if they nerf other stuff in Restoring Light. They could have it be like some kind of weapon buff, like the new DK Igneous that they're doing. That gives magic damage and gives you like some fancy effect when you hit targets or something like that for the caster, not for the crew. Something like that could be cool. So it could be better, but it's alright. Remembrance, this is the other move of the healing ulti. This one doesn't allow you to move. Has more duration, I think, if I recall correctly. Or was it that you keep the major protection longer after you leave? I think it's major protection for more time, yeah. And the other move... wait, the other move doesn't even give major protection. It should, though. It should give you major protection and armor. And this one should give you... maybe Remembrance? You know what? I think Remembrance should give you... it should reset the cooldown of the Lightweaver. Because you can move. And not still do full damage to someone who's spamming heals. And you can't really like walk after your teammates, for example. So you would run out of range. Maybe the radius should be less on this. And this morph should give you more radius. But this one should give you block while you cast it. That would, I think, be fine. You should like drop ground AoEs and just warm down the person using this. They can't line of sight while they cast it. And I think it should be, it would be a lot more interesting than, oh, here, have some major protection after you end the ultimate or while you cast it. So if this just reset Lightweaver passive, and could be interesting. You could use it on solo build sometimes too, but right now I think this morph is like D tier. Or man, not D tier. Let's put low C tier. This morph is way better. It's like you can move, and this one is you can move. Repentance. Repentance I don't think is too amazing. It's better for solo play than and Radiant Aura, but usually you don't have bar space for it. You get sustain if you kill targets. I think this could be, well, if you kill targets or if you run Blast Bones. This is something that a lot of people don't know, but you can use Repentance on Necro Corpses as well. From Blast Bones, from the armor buff. It can be a decent sustainability, I guess, but probably C tier. I tried some builds with it. They weren't too great, but it's not like, I don't think it's D tier. Like high C tier. Would rank it above Unstable Core and Beam, but it's a C tier ability. Should be better, I think. I think the concept is fine, but the amount of healing you get should be bigger. And the amount of sustain you get should be more. Maybe it could be decent then. Restoring Focus, well, we all know where this is gonna go. Channel is Magicka, this one is Stamina. I think Stamina is a little bit more common, but they both can be used. It actually has more healing, right? Didn't they change that? There's a bit more healing. Let's put this... They're kind of about the same, like it really depends on the build. They're both good. You could automatically suck the soul so you don't have to activate it. Oh, that could be interesting actually. Just having it slotted and it would automatically just go off. But what do you get for casting it then? What would be the activate? That would be kind of broken though. If you don't need a global to get sustain, you'd have infinite sustain on a Necro. If that was the case. Would be maybe a little bit too strong. Also a lot of healing if you did that. Oh, wait, what if you get a buff? What if you get a buff for 10 seconds that sucks nearby corpses? And then you get the heal and the sustain. And then they don't need to buff the heal or the sustain you get. Maybe 10 seconds is too much, but something like 6 seconds. That could be interesting. You could cast it before Blast Bones in that case. Or before you refresh the armor buff. Wouldn't have to cast it afterwards every time. Would make it feel less clunky to play that kind of build as well. Because it was kind of clunky when I played that. Ritual of Rebirth. This one is it's D tier, right? What did this one even do? It heals someone who's outside of the area, right? But you don't give minor expedition. And cost reduction. It's giga expensive. You get some heal on someone who's outside of the radius? Nah. This is bad. I think the other one is better. Unless you have someone in group running retreating maneuver, already given minor expedition, then maybe this one is better, but then you probably don't run someone, you don't have someone running the skill in the first place. Or the other morph even. It's not that much worse though, we probably put it here in like C tier. Like Aedric Prey tier, more or less. And we have one left, Ritual of Retribution. Only cleanses 2 effects. It's a dot on the area. The dot is pretty decent. The reason people don't run this one is because the cleanse is worse and it doesn't have the like strong heal all the time. If Extended Ritual didn't exist, you would see this ability being used just for the dot damage and these like small cleanse of 2 effects. I think it should cleanse 4 effects like Extended Ritual. Extended Ritual has a heal instead of damage and it cleanses 4. This one is only 2, but does damage instead. So why does this have to be less? It has less duration as well. Why does this have to be less cleansing as well then? I don't get it. Just make the cleanse, like make it cleanse 4 as well. It could be like up here with Extended Ritual and balanced. Lose heals, gain damage, simple. But you lose a little bit too much in comparison right now. Or is it A tier? Would you run it? if you only cleanse, like you only cleanse 2, right? I think B tier probably. It would still be used sometimes in duels and whatnot, but maybe you won't run it too often actually. Like high B tier for that one. But yeah, right now you never see it because Extended Ritual is a thing. And that's the Templar abilities.